Chapter 1, Birth of a Soldier. Part 1. On a cold, cold January night, I learned about the existence of a conspiracy. It's my tiny six-mat, one-room apartment. I had ensconced myself next to my kotatsu stove. It was painfully a dreary night. Despite it being a new millennium, there was no hope in sight. I even cried while eating my New Year's soup. For an unemployed 22-year-old male college dropout, the winter chill was piercing. In the middle of my filthy room, where thrown-off clothing littered the floor and the smell of cigarette smoke had soaked into the walls, I sighed over and over. How could things have come to this? It was all I could think about. I moaned. If I didn't break out of my present condition soon, I would fall behind completely and disappear from normal society. Even worse, I was a college dropout already. I needed to find work fast and return to society. I just couldn't do it. Why? What's the reason? The answer is simple. Because I am a hikikomori. Currently the hottest, most popular new social phenomenon, hikikomori. That's me, a recluse. They say there are now approximately 2 million hikikomori living in Japan. 2 million is a tremendous number. If someone threw a rock on the street, they would hit a hikikomori. Of course, that wouldn't really happen. Hikikomori don't go outside after all. Anyway, I was one of the hikikomori currently so popular here in Japan. Not to mention that I was somewhat of a veteran hikikomori. I left my apartment only once a week, and then I just go to the convenience store for some food and cigarettes. My friends numbered 0, and I slept 16 hours a day. This year would mark 4 full years of living as a hikikomori. My lifestyle had caused me to drop out of college. Seriously, I was such a frightful hikikomori that I should have been approaching professional status. No matter whom I might be up against, I really doubted I'd lose easily to other hikikomori. In fact, I was so confident that if an Hikikomori International Challenge Olympics were to take place, I would score pretty well. I was certain I would beat out other hikikomori regardless of country, whether it was a Russian hikikomori who escaped through vodka, an English hikikomori who escaped through drugs, or an American hikikomori who found escape by randomly shooting guns indoors. Right. The famous founder of Kyokushin Karate, Mr. Masutatsu Yoihama, also known as the God Hand, supposedly holed up in the mountains during his youth in order to hone his spirit before going on to the world's strongest karate master. If you think about it from that standpoint, then I would have been holed up continuously in this apartment for a number of years, must be at this very moment incredibly close to becoming the strongest man in the world. Well, it was worth a try. I decided to set up a beer bottle and try to break it with a chop of a hand. Hey-ya! While wrapping my bloody right hand in a bandage, I sat back down at the kotatsu. Anyway, you looked at it, my mind hadn't been working properly all of late. Could it be because I got 16 hours of sleep a day, or was it because I avoided eye contact with people for more than half a year? All day long my brain remained in a fog. Even when I walked to the bathroom, my gait was unsteady. But I didn't really care about that. The more immediate problem was how to break out of this helpless hikikomori lifestyle. Yes, I have to escape this festering hikikomori life as fast as possible. A return to human society. A rebound from dropping out. I'll work, find a girlfriend, and lead a normal life. If I continue this way, I will become a trauma victim. If I continue like this, I will be disqualified as a human being, and I need a resolution right now. Resolution. However, such as today is the day I go outside and make myself find a part-time job. Just faded away like a mist in fewer than 10 minutes. Why? Why is that? Probably my ridiculously long life as a hikikomori has rotted away the very roots of my spirit. I can't go on like this. I must do something quickly. At this point, I decided that in order to force my thoroughly weakened spirit to recover, I would try taking some of that white drug I ordered online. Even though it's called white drug, it's not a major stimulant or anything. It's perfectly legal, relatively powerful hallucinogens. However, although legal, it's said to have nearly the same effect as LSD. It acts directly on the serotonin receptors in the brain and reputedly causes unbelievably intense visions. Exactly. To escape my gloomy situation, I had no choice but to rely on pharmaceutical power. I had been pushed to the extreme of trying to stimulate my own worn-out brain with violently strong hallucinogens. It's just as the famous Tatsuhiko Shibuyasawa said, the enlightened you receive through religious training and the enlightenment you receive from drugs are, in the end, one and the same. Or something like that. If that's the case, let me be enlightened through drugs. I will gain enlightenment and escape my hikikomori self. I will shatter my feeble spirit and replace it with a strong, sturdy courage. I will just a small amount of this white drug on top of my kotatsu, and in one breath, I will snort it up my nose. Oh, how wonderful, how pleasant. In my tiny, grimy, 6-mat, one-room apartment, with a kitchen sink filled with dirty dishes and floor littered with cast-off clothing, I actually experienced a trip. The walls wobble and squirm while the air conditioner breathes steadily. Mr. Stereo Speaker is talking. Oh, everyone is alive. We are all one world. Mr. Refrigerator, good evening. Mr. Kotatsu, thank you for warning me. Mr. Bed, you're the most comfortable bed ever. Oh, Mr. TV, Mr. Computer, and everyone else I've met up to this point. Thank you all. Mr. Sato, break out of your hikikomori life soon. Oh, everyone, you're all supporting me? Thank you. Thank you. Nothing could make me happier. Now I'll be fine. With everyone's warm support, I can escape from my life as a hikikomori. Please watch. Look, right now. I'm about to go outside. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, but that does not concern me. I'm about to escape from this room into the vast world. However, because it's cold, I must dress properly. Okay, here we go. Put on my clothes, hat, jacket. Okay, there, all ready. Okay, I'm going outside. Time for me to say goodbye to all of that hikikomori stuff. See you. Goodbye. For some reason, the door to my apartment didn't open. Why? Why wouldn't the door open? Anxiety consumed me. Someone was trying to interfere with my escape. That's right, Mr. Sato. If you leave, you won't be a hikikomori any longer, my speakers inform me. So, someone is getting in your way. The complete shock I received from that one phrase, transmitted by my speakers, was absolutely indescribable. Interference. Now that they mentioned it, I was reminded of the time when I first started my life as a hikikomori. It had been a painfully long hot summer day. I stomped along, trudging up the slope to my school. Sweat dripped constantly and uncomfortably down the nape of my neck. There were very few people on the road, maybe a couple of housewives heading home from shopping, and some young people heading for the same school I was. I passed very few, though. However, my journey to school that day was decidedly different than it had been every other day. Everyone I passed looked at me, and I was absolutely positive that though it was very, very quiet, almost so quiet as to escape my hearing, each one of them let out something akin to a giggle. Of this, I was certain. It's true. I'm positive. They each saw, and they began to ridicule me. The housewives and the students, they all noticed me and laughed. I was astonished. Why? Why should they laugh at me? Hey, look at that guy. There's something wrong with him, huh? Ew, how awful. I wish he wouldn't leave his house. Ha ha ha. He looks like such an idiot. It couldn't be. Probably wasn't. Might not have been. Just a persecution complex on my part. Listen carefully. I was sure I had heard them, their voices mocking me. Ever since then, I have been afraid of going outside. The speakers crackled. That's right. Those people who laughed at you are interference operatives. It's definitely not just a persecution complex, Mr. Soto. They used your easily hurt, naive soul against you.
setting you up to become a hikikomori.
Ah, that's what happened. At that moment, the deep darkness that had covered my spirit for such a long time finally was driven away. In short, up to this point, someone had been psychologically manipulating me, thinking about things that they weigh everything now. Well, it all made perfect sense. Who could have done such a thing? Why? I had no idea. No idea at all. Just then, my television suddenly whispered, "The NHK is operated with the help of subscribers like you." Those words, usually barely noticeable, began to agitate me for some reason. NHK? I felt that. Within those 3 letters of the alphabet, some kind of grave secret might be hiding. This absolutely was not some simple delusion of grandeur or ridiculous nonsense. Even though I was currently right in a mid-trip on a powerful hallucinogen, it didn't mean that I had lost my ability to make a sober judgment. In fact, my brain was working far better than it had in the previous 22 years of my life. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Look, my logical thought process worked perfectly. That's why I need to think. Right now, I need to think. NHK. And those 3 letters had a tremendous secret having to do with me. For all intents and purposes, it was nothing more than a simple hunch, but I could no longer have any doubts about its accuracy. We might as well call this idea a divine revelation. It wouldn't even be exaggerated to call this enlightenment. However, my prior familiarity with the NHK came to mind. Thinking about it, I remembered that when I was little, I had liked NHK. In elementary school, I saw Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water. It was such an interesting anime. Anime. Mentioning anime brings up images of otaku. When it comes to otaku, they tend to be poor at human contact. People who are poor at human contact tend to become hikikomori. Really? I see. At this point, the direct connection between NHK and hikikomori finally should be obvious to everyone. In short, by broadcasting such interesting anime, NHK mass-produced anime otaku, thereby essentially creating hikikomori on a large scale. Damn it, what a dirty thing to do. However, now I had stumbled upon their conspiracy. Having come this far, I was only a step away from the perfect solution to the mystery. Resting my head on the kotatsu, I devoted myself to thought. Thanks to the drugs, my field of vision was spinning. All the furniture in my room cheered me. Right, with the help of my furniture friends, no one could stop me. It wasn't as though the cowardly interference operatives would pursue me forever and ever. This is the time to counterattack. I'll make you all regret having mocked me. Only one more step. I'm this close to solving all the mysteries. TV, kotatsu, computer, please, lend me your strength. And then, at that moment, I had a divine revelation. Specifically, it was sent directly to my brain in the form of a proverb. The name says it all. Basically, the very name NHK should reveal the reality of the organization. NHK stands for Nippon Hoso Kyokai. But that couldn't be all it meant. Another meaning, a secret double meaning, had to exist. NHK, NHK, NHK. Until I used to read 3 letters to myself over and over. N stands for Nippon. That's so, then H must be. I understood. It was all so simple. The mystery was finally solved. I had discovered the truth behind everything. H stood for hikikomori. In other words, NHK represented Nippon hikikomori kyokai. My battle began that day. While I was tripping on the hallucinogens, I failed to realize that the reason my apartment door wouldn't open was due to nothing more than the fact that I had locked it. That was just the tiniest of issues at hand, though. No matter what, I have to fight it out. Until the day I've defeated the NHK, I must fight it out bravely. I absolutely will not lose. Though sometimes I do want to die.